We are live. Hey everybody, how's it going? Today is Today's Channel with Marissa and my dad, Joe. His name is Marissa's dad, apparently, today, as you can see on the screen. We are rebranding our show that we were doing before, Ask Jesus, but we're still calling in the guides. We're still channeling Jesus. We're just not reading books about Jesus and books about the books that we've written. We're actually just talking about everyday life because according to Papa, everybody has been shown that God exists because a bullet grazed Trump's ear. I don't know if I mean, I kind of agree, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not really into politics, but I also know that, reading our books and reading all that stuff, if it's not exciting for my dad, then the guides don't come in with full force. So it takes someone to be passionate and excited about something for all of their guides to come through. And as a channel, we need to channel what we're excited about. And right now that's today, because I think that the guides have been telling us for years, since 2011, 2012, that this is like the age that like all the souls wanted to be born during, because this is like all these high level souls are coming through as children, and all these children are supposed to like change the world, but the world was going to try and like make them stupid and make them dumb and try to like downplay them in some way. And we never really understood what they meant until recently. I've started to really see and understand. And I have a story about last night, not to totally cut my dad off and not let him talk, but I went into Verizon last night and my phone wasn't ready, but I decided I was going to go anyways. I don't know why. It just was like, I need to go over there right now. So I went over there and I was talking to the girl over there and I said, how do you like the Android, or how do you like the Flip, or how do you like this? Do you like the Pixel? And I was just chatting with the girl that worked there. And she goes, well, she says, I like this phone and I like that phone. And somehow she says, well, we just moved here to Vegas. And I said, oh, you're new here? She goes, well, actually I'm from here, but I was taking care of my dad. And I was like, oh, you're taking care of your dad. And whenever anyone says that, I'm like, oh no, I hope he didn't die, because now he's going to come through in spirit, And she's like, he's doing okay. But, she's like, my son started to have seizures and we needed to, I wanted to be somewhere closer to like an emergency room. We were out in the middle of nowhere. So we started trying. I said, oh yeah, seizures. I used to have seizures and blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden it was like, boom, like flashing neon lights. I could see a boy's silhouette and I could see NA written up above his head, like NA. And it was like, I think it was NA. I don't think it was a plus or a minus. It was just NA. And I was thinking, what element is that? What element is that? So I go on my phone. I'm like, hey Siri, what element is NA? and then it was like, I'm sorry, what are you saying? Like, Siri wasn't responding. So I was like, oh, and atomic number 11. Well, it's nice to now.
Siri's talking to you.
Say, open this. She's responding.
Turn that thing off.
Last night she wasn't responding, and I was trying to be low pro about what I was seeing above like her son's head that I was seeing, and she and so I was like, all right, whatever, Siri. And then it died. My phone died, so I was like, oh well. And then I heard sodium imbalance. And oh wait, no, I heard that before. She even said the thing about her son. So anyways, then she said the thing about her son. That's when I heard sodium balance. So I said, have you checked his sodium levels, or like, is there such thing as like sodium imbalance? I said, it may sound weird. I said, but I'm a medical intuitive, and I deal with teaching people to develop their intuition. That's like the voice. She goes, I know what intuition is. I go, oh, okay. She goes, I get you. She goes, so what are you hearing? And I said, sodium imbalance. And I said something about sodium channels. So anyways, she had her phone, so she looked it up, and apparently your sodium channels in your brain are like the primary thing that deliver like electricity to your brain. And if it's imbalanced, seizures are a side effect. So I just went to Verizon to go, get my phone. I couldn't get my phone. I still haven't gotten my phone. They're still dealing with, they keep putting it in for discovering intuition instead of discover intuition. And they keep saying that the name isn't right. So I'm like, oh God, whatever. But anyways, the point is that I feel like God led me over there last night to her, so that because she's like, I have no idea. She says he's 8 or he's 9 years old. He's having these seizures. He just freezes. She says, and she just is like totally freaked out. She says she's got him on no dyes, no anything, like just like all the healthiest foods in the world. But she says, we don't eat any salt, no salt. And she says she's so paranoid, so they have very low sodium. So she's going to look into that. But that led her and I to a conversation about how she had done all his initial boost shots for school. So you can go to school, and now that she's done all the research on what's in those things, that she wishes she never would have, because she thinks that the reason why he's having the seizures is from that. So I wanted to ask
all the vaccinations.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I was like, well, my kids are like pure blood. That's one of the reasons why I was willing to move to Vegas, because I'm not like anti-vax, but I'm also like, I would muscle test and say, is it for Madison's highest and best good to get this? No. Is it for Matthew's I mean, remember how guilty me and Jeff felt, and you, I mean, all of us were like, oh God, we need to get them vaccinated. And like in the very beginning, that's how we were. We were all freaked out because everyone's so like, brainwashed into thinking that you have to like give them all these shots so that they can, survive and not make everybody else sick. But I would just keep muscle testing the kids, or muscle testing myself, to see if it was for the kids' highest and best good. And it just kept not being for. And now I just can't even imagine doing it, because I've read all the side effects and stuff like that. But she said that she's got a group of people that she's joined or whatever, and all of them have like 9 or 10-year-olds, and they all kind of think that same thing. But I wanted to ask the guys, why the heck would God not God let, but why? What's the deal with that? Like, why? Because we had them. We had vaccines. I remember getting them. You and Mama, you both have those weird little marks on your arm. What was that for?
Vaccine.
It looks like a lighter from the car, and burned your arm.
Yeah, no. Our vaccines spots were here on our arm. In Mexico, you can tell who's been vaccinated because there's a bump on everybody's shoulder, because this is where they would give them in Mexico. So Laura used to have a bump on her shoulder. Drew has a bump on her shoulder. So Mexicans get bumps on their shoulders. We used to get little scars here. So anybody who's a baby boomer like me remembers when they had a little scar in their arm here. But I think we only took something like 3 or 4 vaccinations. But now they got the kids on like 20-something vaccinations. And that's insane. That's just insane. In fact, we don't even need the vaccines, because the diseases that the vaccines were for have disappeared. They're gone. There's no need to protect yourself from something that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, wow. Wait, what do you mean? Like those diseases are gone?
Yeah, like polio. Polio was the big one. I had a neighbor across the street from me that had polio, and they can't walk right. Their legs are a mess, and so in my age we had to deal with polio, but then it was eradicated. There hasn't been polio for 50 years, but yet people still have to take a
because of the vaccine
shot. What's that?
Because of the vaccines? I mean, there's got to be like, like obviously, I think the vaccines back in your day, like in the ancient days, I'm now ancient, considered by the kids ancient. They said, Mommy, make sure you tell the lady that you're going to the class today how old you are, so she'll know that you can't make it through the class. When I went to a workout class, Mommy, make sure you tell her how old you are, so she knows you can't make it through class, to a booty buster class over at the gym. But back in those days, maybe the vaccines were real. I mean, maybe that's why there's no polio, because you guys all got the vaccines, and the disease is gone now, right? Because of those shots maybe that you guys got. And then we got them. And I think that maybe Joshua was affected by it, but we didn't realize it at the time, because he, right at the age that he got real sick and got all those allergies, was right after the age that we would get all those shots when we were. Yeah. And Joshua is such a high level.
We didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Mom and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. We just thought, oh my God, yipes. We had to put him in Children's Hospital. It was really a mess.
I remember that.
I know, but then Joshua used it as a cudgel against the rest of his life.
Knocked off his path. I think anybody could get knocked off their path if something happens. Like, I think any kid, and this is my point, is the guides we're talking about last night. When I left Verizon, I tried to go live. And then, of course, as always, guess who called? Jeff. I said, what made you call right this very second? And he said, I was just thinking I want to clean up the kitchen. You hadn't had dinner. I was wondering if you wanted me to make you a plate. And I said, okay, I was just wondering, because literally every time I go live, you call. I was supposed to be home, and he wasn't mad. I was just like, he just gets this feeling. And I think it's because I ground myself and disconnect from everyone. And then he feels that I disconnect. So then he calls. But anyways, he called, it knocked me offline, and then I never went back online. But my point of going back online was I was going to go online and talk about how the guides are saying that this is one of the ways that Lucifer and Satan are destroying a race of, not destroying, but knocking a race of children off their soul path. And remember, Joshua was the whole reason why we all incarnated. Remember, we did a reading one time, and it was like his soul that was like, oh, hey, let's all go down. And he was like the high level soul that put it all together. And so what better to do for the other side than to completely knock somebody off their path by putting something into their system? Like the guides had said, don't put one of the diseases into Madison, because they said in one of her other soul, like her soul has like a storage bank of all these lifetimes that it's lived. We all just live this one life, and then we go eternally into heaven and we do our thing or whatever. But our soul, or our oversoul, has all these different lives. And if one of those souls died of, say, polio, or I can't remember which one it was one of those like diseases that you get vaccinated for. But in one of her lifetimes, she died of
smallpox, measles, chicken pox.
I think it was smallpox. I think it was smallpox.
That's pretty much what we got.
Yeah. So, but they were saying that she had died of that in another lifetime. And if I was to put that frequency into her, like they said, imagine everybody like their snow globe, and you're going to have your water. The snow globe never changes its water. The water stays in there, and it's got its little things in there. And they said, imagine taking a needle and injecting something in there. It's going to bring a frequency in there that she wasn't planning in this lifetime to experience. So so if you do bring it in, it drops the person down into a space in the oversoul where like old entities or earthbound spirits or attachments or other experiences from other lifetimes will go, oh, there they are, I see them. And then they come and they attach, and then the kids get attachments and things like that. So that's why they had said, just don't give Madison, I think it's smallpox or something, don't give her that because that'll put that frequency into her system, and she doesn't want to experience what she experienced in that lifetime or have any of the energies around her, because that will make it so that she doesn't get to experience what she came down here to experience. I was like, oh, okay. So I did it more for like spiritual reasons, because I fully believed in reincarnation at the time. But I want to ask the guides if there's any, if they are using things to inject, like everyone's into like the Ozempic, because we were talking about that Ozempic and tirzepatide and all the weight loss things. Is that something that will throw people off their soul's path? I want to know that. And then anything like injectable, that people are taking, like medicines and stuff like that. Can any of that stuff throw people off their soul's path? Because there's the vaccine that everybody's getting, and now everybody that's like went from fat to skinny has like taken that weight loss shot. That's like the diabetic shot. That's what I was talking about with my dad. And he said, gosh, I don't know why all you guys have like diabetic tendencies, whereas we're fine. And that's when it led into the conversation of, well, I think that the government or whoever's in charge is trying to poison each generation even more and more. Right. I mean, don't you think?
Yeah, and again, that's why Bobby Kennedy is going to be so helpful if Trump wins, is because he is going to take on the pharma industries. What he said was that in his family, the entire Kennedy family, nobody had ever had autism. Now, almost all of the Kennedys, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, they all have autism.
Really?
Why do they have autism, but nobody ever had autism before that? So that's when he thought, well, it's got to be in the vaccination, something that's being introduced into our bodies that isn't good. And so he's a strong advocate, and he was totally against the vaccinations, and on COVID, because he thought that they weren't good for people. And so everybody just really ripped him a new one and called him a conspiracy theorist and all this other stuff. I just saw in the news today that in a news feed, I saw that pharma's finally admitting that they never should have attacked ivermectin as junk. Through the COVID, and they're admitting now that thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of lives were lost because it wasn't used.
Seriously, they're actually saying that, like, for
because
real?
politics wanted to get it out. They want, the pharma companies wanted the money. It's all money. It always comes down to money. It's always money. Money is more important than other people's lives, apparently. So, it's. So I'm going to be really curious to see. I originally wanted to see Robert Kennedy become Trump's vice president.
I was going to say,
he was Democrat. He's a Democrat.
Why can't he be the VP?
Well, he would probably lose a lot of Republicans because Kennedy is a Democrat. He's a Democrat, but the Democrats wouldn't let him run in the primaries against Biden. They put up roadblocks, in his way, and he couldn't get on these ballots. And then they were they threatened him with tons of lawsuits. The Democrat Party just loves lawfare. They just constantly go to courts over nothing. Again, I like what Trump said. He said, the way we change all that is loser pays. Loser pays. Maybe somebody will wait a little bit before filing a lawsuit when they know there's a possibility they might lose. If they lose, they don't make any money, and they have to pay for the other side. So I'm looking forward. But anyway, no, Trump couldn't take him on as a vice president, and I was just really hoping that he would end up in his cabinet. Now we know he will. He's not only going to be investigating the pharma industry, but he's going to be investigating the entire CIA, DOJ, FBI, Homeland Security, the whole thing. He's going to be investigating the assassination attempts, all assassination attempts since his uncle, John F. Kennedy. So it's going to be really interesting, which means he's going to have access to so much stuff that the government normally redacts. They get a piece of paper, they want it from FOIA, and they request documents, and they get the documents, and 3/4 of the page is nothing but blacked out, and there's nothing there. So he's going to have access to all those documents that have been blacked out. He's going to get to see everything. So I'm really looking forward to that. One thing I wanted to bring up today is let me tell you a little story for those people who don't know, because I've been doing this for a long time, a lot of years now. They know that I have a bad back, and the disc in my back moves. And I've had back surgery back in 2003. But I was very close to having back surgery again about 4 years ago. And I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago. And I was using a walker. Now, people who know me, they know this already. So, stay with me here, because there are people who might be seeing this for the first time. I had to use a walker. I mean, I was literally an old man, and I'm an old man anyway, but I'm not really that old. 70s is like the 50s. You're going to see, Marissa, when you turn 50, you're going to feel young again. Seriously, 50s are a great age. 70s are the same way. 70s feel like the 50s. And so anyway, I feel fine. But anyway, my back was really bad. I was on the verge of having to have more back surgery. And I sat on the end of my bed. And, up until then, every day I'd turn my will over to God. But I couldn't figure out why I had to be in such pain and had to deal with it. So I sat on the end of my bed and I said, okay, God, Jesus, my soul, my team. I said, this must be part of my plan to have this pain. Otherwise, I know that you can heal me just like that. I mean, Jesus says, ask and you shall receive. So if I had trust in God, he would heal me. So why am I in such pain? And as I sat on the bed, and that's why I'd still like to know who it was talking to me. Clear as day. Yeah, I know it wasn't my thoughts, because I had been in such pain for so long, and I'd been surgeries before, and I knew exactly what it was all about. When something like a loudspeaker came in my head and said, sleep on your right side, dummy, because my pain was on the left side. And the only way I could get comfortable laying down was laying on my painful side, which was my left side. So I would sleep on my left side. I'd lean on my left side, because that would release the pain. If I moved over to my right, very painful. So here, Jesus or God or my soul or
It's your
being,
team. It's your team is what they
my
said.
team said, sleep on your right side, dummy. And I go, oh my God, Jesus just called me a dummy. So I was really in bad pain. I was really close to surgery and everything. And I've gone over the story before. I went to San Diego. I got another opinion and blah, blah, blah. I went to doctors in Puerto Vallarta and I had all the MRIs done. And the doctors were showing me exactly what was wrong with me. So I thought, okay, well, I know it wasn't me that told me to sleep on my right side. So I slept on my right side. First day, not much. Second day, I was feeling, hey, something's happening here. After 3 days, I could literally run. I needed no walker. I could literally jump. I would stand at a curb, a 4-inch curb, and try to figure out which foot should I use to get off
I
this
saw
curb.
that. You like,
should I use the left foot or should I use the right foot? I know it's going to hurt either way. A 4-inch curb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after 3 days, I could have run hurdles. I could have run a hurdles race. And so I've told others who have sciatic pain exactly what happened and how it helped me. Well, it goes in one ear out the other to people. They don't believe me, or for whatever reason, anybody I know who's had sciatic problems that I told that this helped me, nothing happens. They either don't do it or they think I'm a nutcase or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Drew has been having a bunch of troubles for the last couple months on her left side. And I said, that's your sciatica. You know what to do. And she just wouldn't listen. She was always sleeping on her left side. That's where her pain was. So finally I got mad at her about 4 or 5 days ago. I got mad at her. I said, damn it. Seriously, Jesus heals me and you don't even believe it. You won't do what Jesus told me to do. So she said, okay. She slept on her right side for 3 nights. Now she's perfect.
Yay!
Absolutely perfect. She goes, oh my God, and I sleep so much better now. And I'm going to sleep on my right side all the time. So anybody out there, if you have sciatic pain, let's say you have it on your right side. Let's say
I thought the sciatic pain was only on the left side. Isn't it only on the left side?
No, I've had it on left. Even after I healed, even after Jesus healed me, within a year, I had the pain again. But this time, my disc moved the other way. And so my pain was on the right side. So I thought, well, if that was correct, maybe I need to sleep on my left side. So I slept on my left side. After 3 days, better. It happened again. That's why I say it was like 4 or 5 years. It's happened again. I just have a loose disc back there that moves back and forth, and it hits the sciatic nerve, moves back, hits the sciatic nerve, pain. Got to get it back in the center. So I've had that happen 3 times since since the first time of being healed, and before that was surgery. And the next time happened, that I had the pain on the left side instead of the right side, and I slept on my right side again. It went away. I'm perfectly fine. So if anybody's out there, if you have sciatic pain, listen to me. I know what I'm saying. God healed me. I don't know how. He even called me a dummy for not doing it. And it works. It works. So if you have sciatic pain on your right hip and through your right leg, sleep on your left side and don't cheat. Don't cheat. Don't go, oh God, this is so uncomfortable. Let me just go back over to the right side for a little while. Oh, it feels so much better over there. No. Don't do it. You got to put up with it. If you have pain on the right side, pain down the right leg, sleep on your left side, at least for 3 days. Might be 4, never know. Might be 2, who knows? If your pain's on the left side, sleep on the right side. So just try it. I'm just trying to help some people out there because it helped me. And, you never know when God's talking to you, but when it comes in loud booming speakers, you kind of figure, okay, that wasn't my thoughts. I hadn't had a clue as to how to fix myself. I was going to doctors, I was taking pills. I mean, the first time I had back surgery, I was taking about 20 Vicodin a day. Think of that. 20 Vicodin a day for the pain. you can imagine how that messes with your head and everything else.
Well, that's when you got married to you know who.
Yeah, when I got married to Laura, I mean,
Yeah.
God was trying to keep me from getting into that marriage, that's for sure, because I was in really bad pain. And it was just, 2 weeks after that I actually had the surgery. So anyway, I just wanted to get that out for today.
Yeah, that's
What's
cool.
happened
That's
to
amazing. That helped
Drew's perfectly fine. She's the best she's been in months. She goes, oh
That's
my
awesome.
God,
Yay.
I can move around and I'm not hurting. And oh my God, thank you. So hopefully we've helped somebody today.
Well, the guy just said that when we hear, so they said, okay, so this is what they're saying right now. So well, let me just say a prayer for sure. I already said a prayer, but let me just say it on air. So we'll just ask that God, that the Holy Spirit, that Christ, Christ consciousness, that Jesus, that all of our guides, angels, and teachers come in and speak through me today, and ask that I be a clear channel for God's grace and healing, and that anyone or anything that's attached to me or around me or within me or anything that's not me, ask that be permanently disconnected from me, and if not permanently, at least temporarily disconnected, so that I can be a clear channel for your words, God. Amen. Okay, so what's coming through is this thing that looks like it's like a wave. It looks like, but not like a wave, like the ocean. It looks like a line going like this. And I can see the little line, but from the line, you can see kind of like a force kind of coming off the line, like as if somebody was taking like a jump rope and kind of, or those people that at the gym and they take the ropes and they go like this with their arms and they they work out and the rope does that. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing someone behind me, and I'm seeing someone over there, and they're doing something with a rope. They're going like this. Oh, they're clearing my energy. And that's funny. It's like this thing. They said that's the Holy Spirit. When you want the Holy Spirit to clear your energy, you just ask that your higher self and your soul, using the Holy Spirit, will clear your energy. They're using almost like, it looks like they're holding a jump rope. Each one of them has it in their hand, and they're going like this, and it's just going like clearing all my energy. They're saying that the Holy Spirit can heal any physicality, anything physical that anybody has wrong, like that, using this special, it looks like a nerve. Not a Vegas nerve. I want to say Vegas, but I'm in Vegas. Like it's a Vega.
Sciatic
nerve? Vegas, like VA. It looks like Vegas, like VAGAS, but it's Vegas, like VAGA, a Vega nerve or something like that. I don't know. That I think if somebody's on the chat knows what a Vega nerve is, look it up. There's some people. Rachel says sleep on your back, Joe. That's funny. Vega nerve or something like that. But anyways, they said there's certain nerves in your body that the Holy Spirit can clear and completely just bring into alignment with themselves, and it'll cure anything, because everything that's wrong with us, we're like trees with roots, and the roots go down into the earth, and when the roots get all tangled and they get like tied up around themselves, energy doesn't come through them. So when we pray like honestly and humbly to be healed or to have the Holy Spirit heal us, we'll be healed, because they come through with this high frequency energy that that just gets rid of pain. It doesn't necessarily get rid of what was wrong in the physical body, but it gets rid of all the pain. You can't feel it because you get taken into a body where there is no pain, because everybody has a body that has no pain, and everybody has a pain body. So there's a pain body and the non-pain body. And when our consciousness and our awareness gets taken into the non-pain body, that's our Christ body. And when we're in our Christ body, we can't feel pain, because there is no pain in heaven, they're saying, and Christ is in heaven. So they're saying that people that turn their lives over to Christ, if you turn your life over to Christ and go like, oh, Christ, I'm barely worthy of you, and I'm turning my life over to you. And it's like more of like a begging and a pleading, like, please heal me. I'm such a weak, like lowly person that needs healing. You're staying inside of your pain body. But if you're praying, or you're hearing, like you heard, like, you've got control over this, sleep on your right side, like just do it. You're actually stepping into your Christ body, which is your creator body, and you're creating your own reality, and you're waking up out of pain. So if you truly believe that this will work, like anyone listening to this, it'll work, because it just will. And that's how things like these bracelets work. When people get bracelets, I still remember I had a bracelet that was a rainbow colored bracelet that I got from this lady, Connie, who I took a channeling lesson from. My very first time I took a channeling lesson, it was a plastic bracelet that was rainbow colored, and it was supposed to balance your chakras. I wore that thing every day for like probably 2 years. And when it broke, I thought my life was over. My life is going to fall apart. It was a plastic bracelet. It wasn't even real crystals. It was just like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, like bracelet. But I truly believed that by me putting the bracelet on, it was balancing me. So I was putting the power, I was kind of putting it into the bracelet, but I was also putting it, they're showing, into myself, in that by putting this on, I'm balancing myself. So they're saying that people, by taking their healing into their own hands and by believing that they have the power of the Holy Spirit and Christ within them, that they can heal this. But when you take the victim role, then you fall out of that Christ body. So just they're saying, just think about it. Ask your guides for help in assisting you to not be the victim in your life, and they'll rise you up out of that victim role and put you into more of like a creation role. And that's when you can heal yourself. I was going to say that my teeth hurt so bad, but then when I channel, it's gone. And I was going to ask them why too, but they just answered that, because I go into my higher self where there's no pain. Remember, I was saying my teeth are throbbing. I couldn't do the show yesterday because my tooth was throbbing so bad. And it's in a tooth that doesn't exist. I have a bridge and no tooth, and I have a tooth that's like throbbing. And it's like when soldiers lose their leg and they have like phantom pains in a leg that doesn't exist. I have a tooth that doesn't exist that's been throbbing for like days, and I have to go see the dentist on Tuesday. That's why we didn't do the show yesterday, because it hurt so bad. But I can't even feel the pain in it right now. It's gone. Like no pain whatsoever. That's nice. I just need to channel all the time. I was going to say something. A girl that I was working with, she's my age, and she wrote to me the other day, and she goes, hey, can I take you up on that session you offered? Because I don't do sessions on everyone. I only do them on the people that I want to do them on, because it's just requires so much attention and time and energy, and just getting intertwined with weird energies that I don't want on the kids and just stuff like that. So I said, yeah, I'll do a session on you. And the guides told her, eat right and go to the gym and move every day, and you'll be fine. She thought she was all sick. She thought something was really wrong with her. She was seeing this Chinese medicine doctor. Chinese medicine doctor was giving her all these herbs. They said that her liver was overactive, but because of something she was taking. That's what they told me. So I cleared up all this stuff on her, and they said that what Satan and Lucifer do to us is, when we have any sort of irregularity in anything, Satan and Lucifer will use that as a way of us thinking there's something wrong with us. And then we'll spiral out of control looking for like a diagnosis, or like, we just want to know. So we'll go to a doctor, and like the Chinese medicine doctor was like, oh, you have no chi in your spleen, and you have no this and that, and you got this imbalance and this and that. And I was like, you're 47. Sorry, Papa, I've got heavy periods too. Yeah, we're getting close to menopause, and that happens to every 40-something-year-old woman. We get heavy periods, and then you stop having your period. But she went to the Chinese medicine doctor because she was having these really heavy periods, and she was freaked out. And the Chinese medicine doctor led her to believe that she had all these energetic things wrong with her, and she was on all these herbs, spending close to $1,000 a month on herbs and the doctor and all this stuff. And the guides just came through and said that Satan and Lucifer are using your need to fix things within yourself to basically keep you off your path. So instead of her doing what she should be doing in life, she's going to all these doctor's appointments trying to fix something that's just natural. So with the guides, what I learned from that, because I do that a lot too, is when we start to think there's something wrong with us, ask God to take you into that body where there isn't pain, where you don't need to have anything wrong with you. You don't need to have a diagnosis. You don't need to have a bunch of pills. You don't need to have define yourself by what's wrong with you, and ask, what is this illness keeping me from doing? Like, what's it keeping me from doing? And ask if that thing it's keeping you from doing is part of like your soul's mission or your soul's path. Make sure to ask yourself, is this just the dark side trying to make me think that there's something wrong with me so that I won't be doing this, this, and this? Like light workers, people that are healers, people that are here to help others. A lot of people, they think they have like autoimmunes and Lyme's disease and all these different things, when in reality, they have a bunch of symptoms that the doctors go, oh, Crohn's disease, or oh, you got this, or you got lupus, or you got this, because they don't know what it is. So a lot of the times it's just ascension symptoms. It's just symptoms of being psychic or intuitive or an empath or a medium or something. So get checked spiritually before you start diagnosing yourself physically. So I just wanted to share that. I didn't share the person's name, that session it was, but she feels great now. She's like, wow, I feel so much better. I feel great. I don't have anything wrong with me. I don't have to spend all this money on this Chinese medicine doctor. And the guides told her, go to a class every day at the gym, and, and just eat right and have fun. I mean, it was like so simple. She was like, wow, I needed that. It's just so simple. But I think a lot of people need that advice because I think we try to, I think especially women too. Probably not. I don't know about men because I don't see men do that, but women overthink everything.
Yeah, I think that's just the, the double X. You guys are double X, like Dos Equis. You guys are Dos Equis. You're XX chromosomes.
Oh yeah,
we're XY. So we ask why.
Yeah, that's true.
Why do you go?
Well, I think that we ask why
but
too.
You guys are like you're drunk. You're like Dos Equis. Women. You're double X. You're double X.
Speaking of men and women,
Dos Equis. I know about Dos Equis down here in Mexico.
He knows about women. Yeah, right. Yeah. But no,
I don't know about women, but I know about beer. I don't drink it.
Yeah.
But I know you can get drunk. You can get drunk by it.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So I think of women as being drunk. What?
I have something to share that's like totally against my nature. Totally. When I talk to one of my friends, she's very like, kind of like, I don't need no man. You know her. You've met her a bunch of times. You may even know who I'm talking about. We won't say her name, but like, I don't need no man. I don't need my husband. I'm going to leave. And, and he doesn't appreciate me. That's just one of those things where it's just this constant thing for the last 10 years, 12 years that I've known her. And I find myself when I get around my family, like my mom and my aunts and stuff like that, it's kind of that same, like, we don't need no man, like type of like attitude. And I was thinking about it last night when I was talking to this person and I was talking to somebody else. And recently, since I didn't work all summer, I went through all my savings and, I actually had to ask Jeff for money to get my Zoom account going last week so I could teach class. And it was like, I felt like the inside of my body was turning inside out and like a monster was coming out going, rah! Like, it's like, it was so painful. It was like a monster that was coming out of me and then eating me and then like throwing me back up. It was the worst thing in the world, having to ask a man for help. And I was talking about this with my friends and we all figured out that society, just like with our generation, was it Gen X? Oh, that's weird. Oh,
I don't know.
It's Gen X.
I put.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, it's your headphones doing it. So Gen X, we're Gen X. Yeah, Gen X. Something about our generation, the generation after us, they're getting all confused about like who they are or what they are. Like
who's millennials? Who's millennials?
Millennials would be like Joshua. Like Joshua and Jeff are born like a week apart from each other, same year, and they're like borderline. They're called like Gen Xials or something like they're millennials.
Oh, okay, Gen X is before millennials. Millennials take you right up to the year 2000 or
yeah,
something.
To the Gen Zs, yeah. So the millennials were way different than the Gen X's are the ones that like they always joke and say like, there was an ad on the TV saying, do you know where your children are? Like 10 o'clock at night, because we all pretty much like raised ourselves and we're out roaming around the streets and because it was safe to do that. There weren't computers yet and anything like that. But Gen X people, I swear, society has grounded into women's heads that it's a bad thing to need a man. It's a bad thing to need a man. But me and my friend were talking today and I was it came out of me like, because she was saying like, oh, because she's going to help me sell my course and she's got like an affiliate link and we're going to, see if she can do that as a job and we're going to sell my course and blah, blah, blah. And her husband's into marketing. So she says, well, I actually am going to sit down with him and he's going to help me. And I was like, oh, wow, ooh, you guys will make a great team. And then I heard as loud as day, just like you heard someone say, sleep on your right side, dummy. I heard, oh, shoot, I wrote it to her. It's on my phone somewhere, but there's nothing wrong with needing the man you've chosen to spend the rest of your life with. It's like if you've chosen to spend the rest of your life with a man, you've chosen to have be like teamwork with the person. There's absolutely nothing wrong with needing that person. And I think that society has just made it so bad for a woman to need a man or a man to need a woman. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, oh, you don't need him to do that. Like, you don't need him to open the door. You don't need him to do this. You're a strong woman, right? Yeah, stand in your power. And it's like, I feel like standing in our power is actually knowing how to stand next to the man that we're with, or, you know, and be a team, and know when, I mean, it shouldn't have been that painful for me to ask for $97 to turn Zoom back on. Zoom back on. I mean, I'm the mother of his children, where we live together. I mean, I stay with the kids when he works. It's like, but it's like my brain just like couldn't even like fathom it. But since that happened like about a week ago, I've been telling Jeff, I've been like, you know, I'm actually realizing how much of a block I have on even saying thank you when you help me, because I get bitter when he helps me, because I feel like I should be able to take care of myself. It's and it's a good thing to be able to take care of yourself, but it's also blocks us from our path when we're unwilling. Like my friend, her husband's a marketing person. Like, it would really be helpful for her to team up or have him help her with doing this in marketing stuff or whatever. So I don't know if there's any women out there that have a hard time with that, but it was something to think about. So the guides came through and they said God created man, and out of man God created woman. God created man to need the woman, and for the woman to need the man, not in like a codependent way where the man's like some deadbeat who sits on the couch and drinks beer all day and does drugs, and the woman works and supports him, and or the other way around. It's like a, you know, men protect and provide, and women provide and protect in their way, and that's just how it is. But I think society, even some people right now are probably going, "Ooh, I can't believe she's saying that," right? Like, some people are so anti-gender role, right? It's like, I just think that the younger generation, like the people that are younger than me, are probably like wanting to throw up on me right now for saying that like men should protect and, you know, like provide and protect, and then women can, you know, it's why the society wants us to not be able to identify with what we really are, which is a woman or a man or whatever. I mean, do you see that? You probably don't see that as much down in Mexico, huh? Probably don't see a bunch of women going like, I don't need no man.
No, it's a not a pay to what's the word? It's a male centric world down here in Mexico. The men are very important, and you know, the women, you know, they get up early to give their husbands their breakfast in the morning. The men are out the door at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. They work. They come back. They come back at about 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the wife has got their food ready for them, and they take their 2-hour lunch break, and then they go back to work and work till about 7 at night, and then they do it all again the next day. The women here are very supporting of their husbands. Them working is very secondary. It's kind of rare. You know, when a husband sends a wife out to work down here in Mexico, it's like an attack on their pride. Like, you know, I'm a man and I can't even take care of my family. I have to I have to have my wife go work to help me. You know, it's so yeah. I think the United States is the other way around. It's like, you know, women and men, you're all equal. You know, you're all equal.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I think that messes with our head. I think it messes with our head because we're not equal. I mean, look at the sports thing going on. That's another thing that people get to stop talking about. But I mean, I've got a friend.
Women are supposed to make babies. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, you got all the tools inside you, and you got the hips wide enough so you can fit a baby in there. Women were made to populate the world. I mean, I liked watching Trump's speech yesterday. How he said he's going to propose that the medical bills for having a baby are paid for by the government.
Really?
Because the government wants to encourage babies. They want more babies. We're not replacing ourselves.
Well, sterilizing everyone.
Before this generation, before the most latest generation, maybe before your generation, we were having, if there are two parents on average, the babies is like 3.0 or 3.5. You know, people were having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids. Now the percentage is 1.6. We're not even replacing 2 people. Wow. We're only with 1.6, and so our at least the government that's hopefully going to take over in November or in January, especially with J.D. Vance, he He's the author of Hillbilly Elegy. I suggest you watch that movie. It's a really good movie. But that was written by J.D. Vance, who's Trump's vice president.
Oh, okay.
And he's got 3 kids. His wife is Indian from San Diego, of all things. Went to Yale. They met at Yale. And then he wrote that story, and it was a bestseller book, and then it became a movie. Ron Howard, I think, is the one that did the movie. But what he is family. He's very family oriented, and he made this comment that the Democrat Party is made up of a bunch of cat ladies. How can cat ladies have empathy for people in the future if they haven't even provided for the future? I mean, why should they even care if the world gets better? They're only here. They don't have any progeny.
Oh, I was thinking about that the other day. I mean, people have nieces and nephews, so I can see, like, remember we were talking about that the other day, but I was in channel mode, so I didn't really.
Yeah, and that's the argument. That's the argument from the other side. Well, I've got nieces and nephews and whatever. And then, like, Tulsi Gabbard. I love Tulsi Gabbard. She's a Democrat. She was a representative from Hawaii. And she was in the National Guard. She's a lieutenant colonel, a pilot. And she had some real problems. You know, she competed against Kamala Harris in 2020 for the Democrat, and then of course Biden got it. But Tulsi Gabbard just gave her story the other day. She goes, "It doesn't hurt me that J.D. Vance called women who don't have kids cat ladies. It does hurt a little bit, but I understand because women should have kids." She goes, my husband and I have spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on in vitro. And Trump is pushing in vitro now. He wants to even pay for it, make sure that the government pays for it or the insurance companies pay for it to encourage babies. She said it's so disheartening every month to find out she wasn't pregnant. That's
the worst feeling.
Yeah. So she doesn't want to grow up to be a cat lady, but she understands that, you know, some people just can't have kids, or some people just don't meet the right person. Then there's other people like me who have 4 wives. You know, how does that happen? You know, I mean, that's crazy. Anyway.
There's people I know a few people that have had surrogates where they find someone that, like, you know, they take the sperm and the egg from the in vitro or whatever and put it inside another person. And so there's ways. And I actually asked the guides about that at some point, and I said, whose soul comes through when somebody does like a surrogate situation? You know, like I know this one lady, she's an author, she's a real big author, and then another person who's a very, very big influencer author guy, his wife, they both did surrogate, like right at the same time. They took the egg and the sperm from the people and then put it in another person, I think is that what they do. And then the other person carries the child and then gives birth to it. And I remember I was working with this girl who was also their assistant at the time too. So I kept getting information for them, like about this surrogate situation. And what's interesting is when a woman carries a child within them, they take on the soul of that child. And that's why women glow. You know, they say, oh, she's glowing. She's glowing because she has 2 souls. She has hers and the soul of the child within her. So when the woman gives birth to the child, whether it was the egg and the sperm of somebody else, it doesn't matter. It's that baby has a soul in it. Prior to even before the what's it called? Conception. Before the conception is even there, the conception is there because the soul is there waiting. The soul is like a pool, like a container waiting. And then like the egg and the sperm come together and go whoop, and they fertilize because there's a soul there for it to go into. Now, what was interesting to me is that the soul is the soul of the person that's going to raise the child. So even though the surrogate is a surrogate and has another soul within them, and then they give birth, it's not their soul that's being imprinted onto the baby. It's the baby's soul that gets imprinted onto us. Isn't that interesting? Like I was thinking like, oh, the soul of the person that's carrying the child inside of them like a vehicle, like their soul is going to go into them. Yes, what happens around the woman when she's pregnant and all the frequencies around her, they're affecting the subconscious mind of the fetus that's in there, that's being programmed like a little tape recorder. That's affecting their subconscious mind and traumas in the mom when she's pregnant and stuff. But the soul of the child is what comes in and infuses the parents when they come through. So the two with the egg and the sperm, they're the ones that that fertilized an egg and a sperm that came together. It was the baby soul that those two created. So when you create a child out of love, then you're creating a child with a soul that's waiting. But if it's a child that's not out of like love, then it's two souls kind of coming together. And then the entire life is of this child that's born. They have these two souls to choose from. And that's why in the Bible, they say something in the Bible about like having a child, like, I don't know if it's in wedlock or out of marriage, or if it's a child out of love. Like, it's like when you come together and you get married and you merge your soul and all that, then you create another soul and it's sitting there, and then the egg and the sperm come together, they're fertilized. And then even if somebody's a surrogate, that soul then goes and kind of overlays into that person. They give birth to the child, and then the child goes into the arms of the two people that created the soul that the sperm and the egg fertilize. So people that are doing in vitro don't have to worry about the fact, like, I used to think like, oh my gosh, does everyone that's doing in vitro, their kids not have a soul? Like, I always wondered about that, because it's like, if you're not supposed to have a kid and you're forcing it, but the guide said, no, the egg and the sperm would not come together and become fertilized, and it wouldn't stick and it wouldn't stay to full term unless God created a soul for that child. So 2 years ago, I would have been like, Trump's a bad person, trying to cover in vitro, trying to pay for it, all this stuff, because I kind of thought it was like the work of the devil, trying to make kids that didn't have a soul. That's what I really thought based on what I was seeing. But ever since I asked about that surrogate situation, I realized the babies wouldn't be made, they wouldn't be fertilized, and they wouldn't make it out, and they wouldn't become people unless God wanted them to become people. I don't know what to think about the whole babies on ice thing. I have friends that are like, oh yeah, I got like 8 babies on ice. It's like, oh, how do you talk about it like that? Because they've got like the egg and the sperm is fertilized, and they've got little embryos sitting in the freezer waiting to be put into them. But they only wanted to have 1 kid instead of 19 kids, so how do you choose? Like, I don't know, should I take this one or that one? Or like, it's I don't even know how somebody would go about choosing if they've got 9 fertilized.
Oh, scientists do. Scientists know how to take the DNA out of a conceived child and determine what kind of a person he's going to be. Whether he's going to be an athlete, whether he's going to have tendencies towards this or that or the other, because they've studied DNA so well. Wow. That's why they call them, what do they call them? Not manufactured babies, custom babies, or designer babies. Designer babies. They call them designer babies. You wait until you've designed the perfect baby, and then and that's it. So
I saw a movie about that. Some guy that had designer babies, and the babies that people started going like crazy or something. But that just made me think of something real quick. And then we'll wrap it up with the guides are saying, they're saying that the study of DNA starting back in 1923. Who's Sheldrake, Schubert, Sheldrake, Sherman, Sheldrake? They're saying a name. I can't tell what they're saying. But he's here. He's dead, but he's here. And they're saying the study of DNA starting in 1923, when they discovered something. They discovered like the God particle or the lining within the DNA or something like that's the same for every single human being. And if it doesn't have it, it's alien. There's actual alien DNA, and then there's human DNA. And certain human beings have that alien DNA within them. And it comes from like otherworldly, like impregnations, like aliens come in and like impregnate people. Ooh. So DNA, it's
that might be how humans came to be.
Well, that's what he's saying. He's saying that DNA, they realized that you can take a little bit of someone and a little bit of someone, put them together and mix them in a little dish, and then go, oh, okay, this is this. And then go drop, put a little bit of the alien DNA in, or sperm or whatever they're talking about. And then make these like bionic people, or these people that supposedly can live for much longer than 110 years, or they can use more of their brain. And that the world has been the big pharma, but big pharma, a special like quadrant or a special portion of like the big pharma world, has been tinkering with the DNA since 1918. Well, 1923 is when they really made the discovery, but 1918 is when they tried to tinker with everything, and they caused a huge pandemic because of it. Was there a pandemic in 1918?
Yeah, that's when my dad was born. He was born in Norway, and but yeah, that's when the big pandemic. What was it? The Spanish flu. They called it the Spanish flu,
Oh, well,
but it
they
really
created.
it wasn't a flu, and it wasn't the virus. It was a bacteria, I think. And
Well, they were tinkering with DNA. They were tinkering with the people trying to
I
make.
don't doubt it. I don't doubt
Yeah.
it.
So this guy's here saying that then they started tinkering with it again back in like 1983. And that really, really, really created a strong, like the AIDS virus, the AIDS.
Yeah, yeah, that's Fauci. That was
Oh,
Fauci.
really?
Yeah, he's the one that designed the AIDS virus.
Well,
Yeah,
well, he knew about, he knew
just
about
like he's the one that did COVID. You know, the
yeah,
guy
he knew about.
is walking devil. You know, he's the walking devil, and yet
They're
he's
trying to create the perfect race of human beings, and by trying to create these human beings, because with this alien energies or alien sperm or whatever they're using, it's
yeah.
they're creating the bringing a frequency into the world, and it's almost like that. So what they're saying is that with DNA we could create human beings, we can make a human being, but we can't make a soul. We can't make a soul.
No, not
But
at
it's
all.
never going to make a soul. So if God doesn't choose to have a soul live on this planet, and then a human being can never be born into that soul, then a human being's never going to exist. So the only way for the dark side really to exist is to basically just attach on to people that are already living and get to us through emotions rather than trying to create human beings. That's interesting. That's
well,
weird.
I know that we only do about a 1 hour show, and we're coming up on it. One thing, you know, I talked about people who have sciatica problems, you know, how it healed me in the beginning. I can also bring up one other thing. If you know, the show is going to be called Today's Channel because Marissa channels and she can channel about what's going on today. I do have to warn that Jesus made it clear that he was not going to give us any prophecy. So Marissa can't say, okay, Jesus, who's going to win the presidential election? Or are we going to be facing World War III or this, that, and the other? We can't ask those things because
I've asked. I never get a clear answer.
She can ask, but she won't get a clear answer.
Yeah.
Like Jesus said, he said, if you were born in the 1600s or whatever, and you were asking those questions, you'd be burned at the stake as a witch. So he said, just, you know, don't. He says, just teach people how to get closer to their soul and to God and to Christ and their team, because everybody's got a team of angels and guides. But the other day I was sitting out there, and I'm retired. I mean, financially, I'm fine. I don't owe anybody a penny. I mean, I'm just perfectly set. I own my home. I've got everything. I got cars. I got everything. I have some income coming in that isn't a lot to you people, but to me, it's perfectly fine. But I was sitting out there, kind of bothered. Sitting out there, I was sitting out by the ocean on my deck, and I was kind of bothered. And I didn't know why I was bothered. I was just like, you know, we all get there. We all like, you just bothered, you know, you're just bothered. You know, you feel like you got so much going on in your head, and you got problems with the kids, and you got problems with the husband or the wife and their mom, and everything's a mess. Feels like everything's a mess. And here I was going, why do I even feel like everything's a mess when everything's perfect? So I said, okay, God, I know. I ask that your will be done every day. And I apologize on days I forget to turn my will over to you. But that's good. You turn your will over to God every morning. Just get up. When you get up, you say, okay, God, I give it to you. You take care of me today. I don't want to take care of me. You take care of me today. Your will be done. But considering me sitting out there being all bothered or whether even after I gave up my will, I have to go back to the snow globe. Because we have learned that we can go out to the store. We can be standing next to somebody who is in a fight with her husband or whatever. And next thing you know, you go home and fight with your husband. You've picked up negative energy from somebody and not even known it. And now you're doing what that person was going through. So I sat out there and I said, okay, I don't like the way I'm feeling right now. Let's go back to basics. God, put me in that big snow globe. In fact, put the snow globe around the entire property here so it takes in me and Drew and Tawny. And I said, if I've got any dark cords attached to me, please cut them, just cut them. So I'm not attached to anybody. And then it's like when you get healed, you've got a sore, you got a sore on your arm or you got a twisted ankle or something. You're going, oh, I got a twisted ankle. And next thing you know, the next day you're running around, whatever. And you have to think back, oh, wait a minute, I had a twisted ankle yesterday. Same thing with the snow globe. All of a sudden, everything got perfect, but I forgot that I had asked for that. And it wasn't until like the next day I went, oh, that's right. Yesterday I was really bothered, but I asked God to cut away the negative forces. So anyway, for anybody who's not familiar with the snow globe, I would recommend you get to Marissa's website and try to get a copy of our book, The Snow Globe. It's very cheap. It's very thin. It's something you could probably read on a flight from San Diego to Phoenix.
I've got the audio free on my website, discoverintuition.com. You can go on and get the audio for free. And I think I've got the PDF for free. And then
you can listen on the way to work. And if you don't listen to the whole thing on the way to work, you listen to the rest of it on the way home. People should learn to focus on how to use the snow globe. I kind of call it not just snow globe, I call it the armor of God. And so anyway, it's a helpful tool. It's just a helpful tool. And it's a way to cleanse yourself of the negativity in your life. Get cords that are attached to you that you don't even know are attached to you. Cut them off. And I remember Jesus or Eden or somebody telling us long ago in our channeling sessions that in order to cut the cords, you have to know who's attached to you and ask to have that specific cord detached. Now, if you know you're attached to somebody that's giving you insecurity or you're just anxious or whatever, and you know it might be coming from a certain person, just say, and I've had to do it with you, Marissa.
Oh yeah.
When we get into rows with each other or whatever in the past, I would have to do the snow globe and ask Jesus or God or somebody up there, especially the Holy Spirit, to cut that cord. I said, please cut the cord from me to Marissa. Just cut it.
Cords aren't good, guys. Cords are not good. They store arguments and everything.
I don't want any negative. I don't want. It's amazing. It's like healing. It's healing. And you don't even realize you're healed until usually the next day or next week or whatever. And you go, oh, that's right. I was, and things got better. So anyway, listen.
I do it in the shower, guys. I do it in the shower. Like I do the snow globe in the shower when I'm taking a shower. I do my shower. I do everything. I shave my legs, do whatever I do in the shower. And at the very end, and my mom always reminds me of this because she loves it because I did a meditation a long time ago called a Reiki shower. And she always remembers that meditation that I channeled like a long, long time ago. It's probably in slow motion because I channeled so slow. But at the end, you turn the shower to a little bit cooler just so you can feel a difference. And then you just imagine the shower head as being like it's Christ water or it's whatever color or whatever frequency you need at that time. And just imagine your snow globe as being all like dirty. Like just say, show me if I was a snow globe, what would I look like? And I'll see my snow globe all clean inside, but I'll see like mud and goop and grime all over it. And then I just run the shower and I'll just say Reiki shower. But if you're not attuned to Reiki, just say, snow globe shower or something like that. But that I just imagine the water running over. Sometimes I get the nozzle off because we got the hose one and I'll just like start spraying it all around me until I feel like the snow globe is clean. And it's just like my phone will start ringing and from people that I'm disconnecting from me, I can feel it. Or Jeff will come knock on the door. Are you okay? It's like, geez, I just disconnected myself from you. Or, it's the coolest thing because you can just take a shower and you can actually feel the energy coming off you. And then what you do is you just imagine whatever came off of you on your snow globe, any cords, any attachments that are attached to you, just imagine the water is just this magical water. You just imagine it all going down the drain. And you can do the same with a bath too. You can take like a soul bath and you can imagine that you're that snow globe and just imagine what you look like. And then just get in the bath and put salts or whatever. But then you have to sit in the bath and wait for it to all drain down. You just watch it all drain down. And as you're watching it drain down, you're watching all the gross energy of other people, which isn't gross energy. It's their energy and they have defense mechanisms for what they've been through. You haven't been through what they went through. So it causes you anxiety. Like if you're connected to your wife, it's not because she's a bad person that you're feeling anxiety. It's just because she has her stuff, you have yours, and she can deal with her stuff and you can deal with yours, but you can't deal with each other's. It's just, you're just not set up that way. So anyways, Reiki bath or Reiki shower are really cool. Thank you for bringing that up, Papa. I forgot I have my course now that's at marissamorris.com. I have that. And I have a coupon code that if anybody's interested and wants 80% off of the class, I'm having a beta testing group for people. Take my class. It takes it down to like $100 from like $450. So just message me anywhere on any of the social medias and I'll send you over the coupon code so you can get a big discount on it. But yeah, I finally have my course that I did with Hay House. I finally launched it and it's at marissamorris.com. Yeah. So, and it has the snow globe in it. That's my point. And it has a free snow globe meditation on that website and a free, like a whole bunch of free stuff. So anyways, check it out, guys. And I put it at the bottom of the screen.
Okay. We kind of come to the end. Do you, does Jesus or Michael or Sophia or Samuel or Peter, do any of them, or Eden, do any of them have a message for people for this weekend? It's Labor Day. It's Labor Day weekend. The summer is going to be over this weekend and we're going into the fall. What kind of message would they have for people right now as of August, what is today, 29th, August?
What is Labor Day for? Just for
or
Labor
30th. Today's the 30th, I think.
Yeah, tomorrow's
yeah, tomorrow's 31st. The first, September 1st is Monday. This is Labor Day weekend. This is when officially the summer ends. People are back in school. Tawny just started school last week. Everybody in Mexico just started school this last week. But technically, we're moving into a new season. We're moving into the fall now. Football, everybody's football. Yeah. Football's coming. You know, we're getting closer to the World Series and playoffs and baseball and everything. Everything kind of gets exciting after a nice summer where people travel.
All the new shows start.
Enjoy your life. Yeah, we have a kind of a new click on life. We're moving into another phase or whatever. So I don't know who's in your field right now.
Peter,
Jesus,
everyone you mentioned is here.
Well, does do any of them have some advice for the weekend for the masses?
Says, do I have anything to say? Do I have anything to say? Of course I have something to say. Peter says, I will let Jesus talk though. Peter says, I always have something to say.
Good. Okay.
But he says, he says, dear children, as I step into this energy today, I bring unto you love, I bring unto you light, and I bring unto you a feeling of being needed and being wanted in your life. For many people do silly things, especially on long weekends when they feel like they don't have a responsibility to do something the next day. They'll go out to parties and do things. And many people's inhibitions when they drink or party or feel like they don't have responsibilities, they say things they don't mean, they do things they don't mean, but really many times they do mean these things. So what we would like for you to do today is, let me close this door real quick. To avoid on 3-day weekends, on weekends where there's parties or weekends where there's celebrations, there are more fights amongst couples, amongst parents with children. There are more fights and more negative workings within homes than there is usually. When there's responsibility, when there's school, when there's work, when things are to be done, people don't focus as much on emotions. They don't focus as much on what they're feeling inside. They just go through the motions of doing what they need to do. So we ask you this weekend to bring an awareness to yourself and what you're not saying in this life, what you're not saying to another person, what you're not saying to your children, or what you're not saying to your parents or to your spouse or to not necessarily your boss. This is your family. Many people sit in jail at this time, at this moment, because of the inner workings of their home, because they screamed and yelled and somebody called the police and somebody came and arrested them. And most people are in trouble for domestic things that sit behind bars because people can't get along in their homes. And the emotional immaturity that goes on within households is, Peter's like, it's out of control. He's trying to be nice. Peter's like, he's trying to be nice. Peter says, this is the deal, everyone. Look, you don't get along with this person. This person doesn't get along with you. You don't get along with this person. Don't allow the immaturity of your spirit to affect your life's path by engaging in things that will hurt a family member, or a family member will hurt you. This isn't something that the two of you are dealing with at this time, but there are many, many people that are watching this that know exactly what we're talking about. You asked us to give a message to those that are watching and those that will see this, and understand and know that communication is very important, and it will not hurt another person to tell them what you feel or how you feel. It will not hurt them. It may help. Don't wait until you're drinking, or don't wait until you're angry to start lashing out and saying the things that you feel that you must say. Talk to people. Do the snow globe. You were speaking of the snow globe. Do the snow globe before you get upset about anything. If you start to get upset with a family member, just say, if I was a snow globe, what would I look like? Okay, it looks like I have a big, huge cord attached to this snow globe, and it's attached to them. These are fights. These are arguments from the time you were born until now between you and that person, if it's a family member or parent. But all those fights are stored. And as soon as they say something, you go, oh, yeah, well, what about this time? Or what about that time? But you may not say it out loud. You think it, and you think it. And then you get angry, and it all comes out. And this causes a lot of strife in people's lives. Many of you should be doing things with your lives. You should have jobs. You should be out changing the world, but instead you're ruminating on something that your father, or your mother, or your brother, or your sister, or your cousin, or your spouse, or your boyfriend or girlfriend, or something said to you that angered you, and you want to get back at them, or you want to say just the right thing to make them feel what you felt. And vengeance is not, it's not a good frequency on anybody. Vengeance is not, and either is guilt, and either is trying to make somebody else feel bad, or trying to be right. Because the best thing is just get along. And if you can't get along, ask us to help you get along, because we can help anybody get along, and we can clear your snow globe and make it so that you can actually say sorry. Do us a favor this weekend. Say sorry to somebody that you need to say sorry to, and thank somebody for something that you need to thank them for. And don't allow pride to keep you from that. Just as we have saying earlier to this channel and her friend, pride is an injustice to the soul. Pride is what just gives Lucifer and Satan just like, ooh, this person has pride. Yes, I'm going to feed on this one. So just don't allow pride to keep you from apologizing, or to keep you from thanking somebody. It's okay to thank somebody if they helped you. It doesn't make them in control of you. It doesn't make you powerless. It just allows them to know that you appreciated it, and say sorry every once in a while. But don't, I'm sorry. Just if you really truly need to apologize to somebody, do us a favor and do that this weekend. It will enlighten your soul. It will help you feel good, and your life will be a better life because of it. We bless you, and we bid you adieu.
Excellent.
Okay.
I got Tawny down on the, I do a surprise, quick snap test on her at dinner time.
Oh, okay.
She knows all the 10 commandments now. Everybody should learn the 10 commandments. Remember what they stand for. Most of us don't know what they are, but very quickly I can go through them real quick. There's only one God. There shall be no other gods before me. That's God says, okay, there can be lots of gods up there, but there are none before me. So there's there shall be no other gods before me. Number 2, don't make up any idols. Don't take this and worship it. Don't worship idols. Number 3, don't take my name in vain. God says, don't take my name in vain. Number 4, honor one day a week as a Sabbath. Take one day and don't work. Don't work. You need to take a day off. That God has designed us to be active for 6 days. We need a 7th day to just relax. Stop it. So write in those 10 commandments. Number 4, honor the Sabbath. Take a day. Jesus used to take Wednesdays off because he would work on Sundays. Or on Saturdays, the Sabbath was a Saturday. So anyway, so he chose Wednesday to take off for him and his apostles. So take one day out of the week where you don't do anything. You don't do anything. It's for you. It's God's gift to you to have for yourself. Number 5, honor your mother and your father. Boy, I drill that one into Tawny.
That's a good one.
Honor your mother and the father. It's one of God's 10 requirements. Honor your mother and your father, not with a but to follow. Just honor them. And then the next ones are, number 6, don't kill anybody. Number 7, don't steal from anybody. Number 8, don't take somebody else's wife. Don't don't be a
mistress or a mister.
What is it? What's the word?
An affair?
No, when you, beyond an affair. It's
Oh,
what's it called?
oh my God, I can't think of the word. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Thou shalt not have. Don't go to bed with your neighbor's wife.
Yeah.
It's like I've forgotten the word, and everybody
I
else
can't.
is going. It's
Infidelity.
Come on,
Is it
Joe.
infidelity?
It's not that. No, it's. Anyway, that's number 8. Don't go sleep with somebody else when you're married. Period. Adultery.
Adultery. That's right. Okay.
You shall not commit adultery. That's number 8. Number 9 is don't bring false witness. Don't bring false witness against somebody. Everybody brought false witness against Jesus when he was being tried. What it really means is don't lie. Don't lie. And then number 10 is be satisfied with what you got. Because you have what you have because God has made it so that that's what you have. Be happy with what you got. The actual terms are, don't be envious of your neighbor's cow or your neighbor's wife or their children. Be happy with what you got. Be grateful for what you have and don't be jealous of what somebody else has. Those are God's 10 rules. 10 rules. But now there's, I think in the book of Samuel in the Old Testament, I'm not sure which book it's in. Just look it up on Google or whatever. What are the 7 things that God absolutely hates? Absolutely hates. And you know what the number one is?
What?
Pride.
Oh,
pride.
Pride.
Yeah, you were just talking about it. Yeah. Pride is the greatest sin.
Wow.
Don't worry about what other people think of you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're comfortable in your life and you're doing the best you can, that's it. I mean, that's it. Don't be prideful and walk around and go, look how great I am. Look how great I am. Just be happy with who you are and what you're doing and the gifts that God has given you. And that's it. So pride's number 1. Isn't it amazing? The pride movement.
Oh yeah.
They love that word. They love the word pride. And I'm going, oh my God, that's God's number 1 hate. God hates that pride.
That's ironic.
And yet a complete movement is a pride movement. To me, it's like, oh my God, these people are crazy. Why did they use that word? Why didn't they use something else? Because God says, do not be a prideful person. Be happy with where you are in your lot. You can have ambitions. You can have plans to end up being a billionaire or make enough money to get the best house or whatever, or the best car. It's okay. You can plan for something like that. God does not condemn you because you make money. It's when you make money, you're God. That's when God gets upset.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't live for money, but be ambitious. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're not stepping on somebody to get to the final spot. So anyway, okay, I think we had a pretty good show. You have anything else to wrap up today?
Yeah, I put a little ticker on the bottom of the screen. It says MarissaMorris.com for classes and meditations. I spelled coupon wrong. Coupon code today 75, and that's 75% off of any of the classes or the bundles. I've got bundles of meditations. I've got a really good heaven meditation where you get to actually go see heaven. It's the best meditation I've ever heard myself channel ever. It's like you get to see God's face. You get to feel God. You get to experience God. You get to see yourself the second you're conceived. You get to see, it's like the coolest meditation ever. I bawled my eyes out and cried, and I don't cry. I'm not a crier. And it was just one of those happy cries, but I found the meditation buried deep in one of my clouds somewhere on one of my external hard drives, and I set it up for sale. I did it as a class and re-recorded it and added some stuff to it. And that's for sale on MarissaMorris.com. But everything's 75% off if you want to get it. I just made the coupon code just now. It's today 75 with a capital T. So today 75. So if you go to MarissaMorris.com and you want to get any of the classes, take advantage of that. I made it. I made the coupon good for 3 days. So if you hear this today or tomorrow or whatever, today 75 and you'll get 75% off whatever classes or bundles I have over on MarissaMorris.com. So that's there. And if I wouldn't have spelled coupon wrong, I would have it on the screen. But yeah, anyways, I'm notorious for spelling stuff wrong because I can't see, but now I can see because I got contacts. So now I can see all my spellings. Anyway,
cool.
Okay, everyone, we are done for this week, and we'll be back likely on Tuesday because I think we're going to go do something on Monday for the holiday or whatever. If not,
Labor Day.
I don't know what your plans are. You guys are just gonna be home on the. Well, he lives in Paradise, so he doesn't need to go anywhere to
No.
get to anywhere nice. He's on the beach. But
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. To me, it's every day's a holiday for me.
That's nice. That's nice. Well, tell Drew I'm glad that her back is better. I didn't know it was bad. That's awesome
will.
that she can listen to you. So tell her I said
Yeah,
hi.
it's,
and I
it's
got to say hi.
amazing because she was walking around every day with pain in her face. You could just see it. She was putting up with it, but it was showing up in her face. Now she smiles. Now she's got a glow to her. It's really
That's
great
awesome.
when you get rid of pain.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, everybody, have yourself a great weekend.
Yep.
And hopefully Marissa and I will be back together on Tuesday.
Yep, we will be. Okie dokie. All right, guys, I'm going to end this stream. Okay. Bye.
Bye,
Have a great
everybody.
weekend. I think I'm ending.